What's up guys, JMatthew here. Are you a game collector? Are you thinking about starting to game collect but don't know where to start or what console to begin with? Well, you're in luck because we are here to help with that. That's right, we. And I say we because today I brought on two other fellow YouTube creators that are known to game collect. And that ultimately is because today's video is about which video game console is the best to game collect for. So yeah, it's a three-person collab between me, MonadoMax, and Tynology Gaming. I've never really made a video like this before, so we'll see how this goes and we'll see if I do more of these in the future. But yeah, I'm very excited to get into this and we're gonna start with me. Yeah, so I'm gonna go first and then we'll go to Max and then we'll go to Ty. And yeah, so we all have different opinions on what we think is the best game console to collect for. So you guys can see what we want to say about it, and then make your own conclusion. That you can go into the wild and look for these games and these consoles. So what do I think is the best console to game collect for? Is it the Wii? I don't know. Is it the Wii U? Is it the PS3? It's close. Is it the PS4? It's another good one along with the PS3. But I think personally, ultimately, I'm gonna have to go with the PS2. Yeah, so I am saying my opinion that the PS2 is the best console to game collect for right now. Starting off, I think it's the PS2 because the PS2 is a very accessible retro game console for collectors to get into. The consoles are very cheap, ranging from like 40 to 60 bucks for like the PS2 Slim and the PS2 original. And then especially since we're game collecting for this console, the game library is absolutely insane. You have your incredible range of PlayStation exclusives, your incredible range of third-party titles, Japan titles, North American titles. It's just everything you could ever want. Platformers, shooters, it's all good. It's all good and great on the PS2. You've got absolute classics and masterpieces like God of War and God of War 2. You've got fantastic RPG series like Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy. And then so many PlayStation exclusive platformers got their start and ultimately their peak on this console, like Sly Cooper and Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, which is like the only one still going to this day. And these are all fantastic games that are very cheap to find and very cheap to get if you want to game collect and if you want to game collect for the PS2. You've even got your Capcom classics like Resident Evil 4 and Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3. These are all pretty affordable games, by the way. And then of course you've got master classes of fighting games like Soul Calibur 2, which is such a great game, and then Tekken and Mortal Kombat. And then you've even got the original Metal Gear Solid trilogy on this console. Like, there's just so much to love here, and there's so many masterpieces, and they're all pretty affordable from what I can remember and from how I got them and found them. Yeah, it's just like, and you find PS2 games everywhere. Like, it's not hard to like find games for this console like Wii U and all of that. So I definitely still think the PS2 is the best console to game collect for it right now. But then don't forget, the PS2 is also backwards compatible with almost every PlayStation 1 game. So that means not only do you have this masterclass of a PS2 library, but you have almost every single PS1 game at your disposal as well. That also means you can double up and game collect for both the PS2 and the PS1 at the same time. You can get games like Crash 1, 2, and 3, Spyro the Dragon, Crash Team Racing, Pac-Man World, Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8, and just all those games that you would need and you want to play, I guess, and they're almost all affordable, and PS2 games especially are affordable from what I've seen. It's just a great time. And then one last thing, the PS2 is also a very cool console for its weird accessories. That's right, I'm talking iToy games. The iToy is a very interesting device if you want to get a PS2 and try that out while you're game collecting for the PS2. It's got games like iToy Anti-Grav and Nicktoons Move-In. But yeah, there's just a lot of things to love about the PS2 and how easy it is to game collect for it nowadays. So yeah, that's my argument about what game console I think is the best to collect for nowadays. I guess we'll just move straight on to the next person. If you guys think I'm right, comment down below. Tell me that I'm right, because I know it's true. PS2 is what to do. So yeah, let's move on to the next person, and let's see what MonadoMax has to say about which console is the best to game collect for.
Hey, what's going on guys? MonadoMax here. Today, we're talking about my favorite game system to collect for. Now, I'll be honest, this was kind of a hard pick I mean, I think everybody expected me to say Nintendo Switch just because of my wall. After hard thinking about it, I've decided that my favorite system is actually the Nintendo Switch to collect for. Shocker to nobody. Actually, there is a few other systems that I really like to collect for, like the Wii U, for example. But I think that the Nintendo Switch is honestly one of Nintendo's best systems out there. It kind of reminds me of the GameCube in some ways in terms of the amount of games that the GameCube had that Nintendo had, in terms of bringing first-party content out on the GameCube. The Nintendo Switch has so many of their IPs being represented. You have 2 Splatoon games, 3 Xenoblade games, multiple Mario games, with some re-releases of classics like Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, official releases on a cartridge, I must say. We're still getting countless support. I mean, we're getting another Breath of the Wild game. Who knows what else we're getting in the next however long the Nintendo Switch is coming out for. The Nintendo Switch is an incredibly unique system to collect for. And the reason why I tell you that, it's a cartridge-based system. Now, you might be saying, okay, what's your point? Cartridge-based. We have the Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS. What's so special about the Switch? Well, the cartridges that the Switch takes is a unique cartridge that is very expensive to make. All the Nintendo Switch cartridges that you see out there for every game that's come out physically, those aren't cheap to make. They are way more expensive to make than an actual disc like you would see with your PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X games. The reason why I bring that up is that because of that very reason, the Nintendo Switch is going to be a very collectible system when it comes to games. We're already seeing this effect happen with a decent amount of Nintendo Switch games, and what I'm talking about is the fact that it's a cartridge. The game's value has already gone up. A lot of the times with the Nintendo Switch games, once they sell out of that initial first stock, you will likely not see a restock because they are so expensive to make. Limited Run has talked about how, in terms of having to make Nintendo Switch games, they have to order, so let's say there is 9,100 copies, 9,100 copies pre-ordered for a limited run game. They have to order 10,000 copies because that's how Nintendo is. Nintendo is very strict on this. Nintendo Switch games are already expensive to make, but that's another thing that's more expensive to make. You have to buy large quantities of Nintendo Switch games when you are making these games in cartridge form. Because of that, you will likely not see a restock of these older games that are already extremely valuable for the Switch. I put Doom as an example. I'm pretty sure that game's about an $80 game on the Nintendo Switch right now. We've seen games like Diablo. I know recently it got restocked, but for the longest time after it came out in 2018, you never saw a restock for that game, and the game's value was over $100. There's many Nintendo Switch games out there that is extremely valuable just because of the reason that I told you that you're not going to see these games restocked. I mean, you're even seeing this with some of the first-party Nintendo games. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna. You have yet to ever see a restock for those 2 games, and you would have thought, considering that Pyra and Mythra are in Smash Bros. And Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming out, that Nintendo might want to, do a restock on those games. No, we have not seen a restock on those games, and the prices on those games are ridiculous right now. There's many Nintendo Switch games that are not going to get restocked because of it being a cartridge-based system, and I think a good majority of the games that you see in my background are going to end up being valuable, extremely valuable. I think, that's kind of why the PlayStation Vita is such an expensive system to collect for. One, the shop is closing down, but before, it was already a pretty expensive system to collect for. That was just because of the fact that it is a cartridge-based system. And these are special cartridges, not like your DS, 3DS cartridges. So, that is why I love to collect for the Nintendo Switch. It has so many games, so many good third-party games, because I felt like with the Wii U, we barely had good third-party games. With the the regular Wii, I felt like we had a bunch of junk, just trash games for third party. We had some decent ones, but I feel like, again, a majority of it was not good. Same with the DS and 3DS. I feel like the Switch has crap games, but I feel like a majority of the third party games out there are good. And because of all of those reasons, the Nintendo Switch is one of my favorite systems to collect for and play. Now guys, I've enjoyed being here on this awesome clip that JMatthew is making. This is a really cool and unique video. I do hope that you guys check out the channel. The channel name is MonadoMax and all that good stuff. Until next time guys, it was great talking to you. Peace.
Hey, that was a pretty good argument, Max. Like, I agree with some of those things. I mean, look how many Switch games I have. Comment down below if you think Max was right about the Switch. And next, we got Tynology. What does the last guy think? Let's see if he has the definitive answer. Let's move on to Tynology Gaming. What does he think?
Hey, what's up? I am Tynology. I run a YouTube channel called Tynology Gaming where I talk about video games, hardware, accessories, lots of Nintendo stuff. Thank you, JMatthew, for inviting me to be part of this video. I'm going to talk about a console that I think is right to collect for right now. That console is the Xbox 360. Specifically, I think that it's good right now because it's in that sweet spot of the prices have come down, but they haven't started going back up. Well, they've into that retro nostalgia territory. It's this nice area where you can get games for really cheap. So a few months ago, I started buying lots of games, 50 games at a time. I usually spent about $2 per game on average, 50 games for $100. And I did a couple of those. And I was shocked by some of the games that I got. So I've been building out these libraries specifically of like PS3 and Xbox 360 games, but also some Xbox, GameCube, PS2 games. There is one big reason why I picked the Xbox 360 over the PS3 is hardware. Now, Microsoft has gone all in on backwards compatibility, so if you have an Xbox 360, or you have an Xbox One, or an Xbox One S, or an Xbox One X, or an Xbox Series X, almost all of the Xbox 360 physical discs and digital games will work on those consoles. And so you have 3 generations of consoles that will play Xbox 360 games. With PS3, you have to have a PS3. And I have a couple PS3s, but I don't have any of them hooked up right now. And with, hardware eventually failing, there's a lot more ways to play and continue to play specifically Xbox 360 games. Now, I will concede that there's a lot of exclusives to PS3 that you just can't get on 360, and I try to collect those too. But for the cross-platform third-party games, I would almost always recommend the 360 version. So a few standouts real quick. I want to say some highlights from my collection. Obviously, the Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City games. You got Rainbow Six Vegas. You got Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops, Black Ops 2. You got Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Skate 2 specifically. This is the best Skate game. LA Noire. This game's still selling. I got it for $2. Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo Reach, Mass Effect 2, Dishonored, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, Gears of War, Gears of War 2. You got Elder Scrolls 4 and 5, Oblivion and Skyrim, Ultimate Alliance, Fable 3. It's in there. Beautiful Katamari. This game is awesome. I like this one a lot more than the original Katamari Damacy. And then who could forget the classics, Big Burger King Big Bumpin' and Sneak King, the Burger King games. Prized possessions. Thank you, JMatthew, for having me. Everyone, go check out everyone's channels. Hopefully, I'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Yeah, those are both great arguments. I think these guys have very valid points, and I think all 3 consoles we talked about today make sense to game collect for right now. I think they're all very good options, so you guys can make your pick. I want to give a huge shout out and thanks to MonadoMax and Tynology for being in this video. Thank you for sharing your opinion and just being a part of this brand new video type that I've done today. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, make sure you guys check them out. Their links will be in the description. They make a lot of really good game collecting and Nintendo whatever type content. So yeah, go check them out. And you've probably already seen them in like my Too Many Games vlogs and all that. So you might have already known who they are. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Comment down below what you think is the best console to game collect for right now. Maybe you think it's the PSP or the Vita or the Wii U or the Sega Master System. Alright, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you follow me on Twitter, like the video, follow my other channels, follow my other socials, and yeah, I'll see you guys very soon with some upcoming content. Goodbye, goodbye. This PS2 is the best console to collect for.